law firm up in Portland. So mainly I work on criminal justice reform at the Capitol, and I live here in Salem. So
Okay.
I live right down the road by the Capitol. So
Nice.
yeah. It's good work. There's lots of work to be done. Never ending. Hi.
I've seen you yet. Last month, Becca came for me, the Meals on Wheels
Oh,
office.
cool.
Mary helped me share.
That's awesome.
I'm on I just started on the Marion Future board about 5 or so. Katie
I
Dobler.
can't remember.
Okay.
I couldn't remember anyone for the first like 6 months.
Yeah.
Except for we had a couple drivers, that were.
Yeah.
on there. But yeah. I've been with them just over a year, so been learning a lot.
And you're stationed out of here.
Yeah, our office is right
Yeah.
there,
Cool.
so.
I think, somebody spoke at the last Marion Hope Food Chair. It was like a board lunch online.
me.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I couldn't make that. So,
I think it was recorded if you.
yeah, I mean, I read the materials. It was great.
I'm doing that presentation at the OSU Gerontology Conference.
Okay.
So I did it last year when I knew nothing. I
We
was
just started.
there like a couple months and Ian's all, oh, here's this thing I have us signed up for. So I did it, but I'm a little more polished this year.
Good. Yeah, I last November, I went to a town hall down at Salem Library, and they were talking about services for homeless folks. And so in my mind, I thought, well, you know what? I got time. I can work the warming shelters. That was a lot,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot. I was like you. I was like, I don't know nothing about no warming shelters or homeless people. It was great though. Overall, it was a lot of work, but it was really good.
Hi,
Hi.
Marilyn.
I'm
the
Kyle.
director here. Nice
Nice.
to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I
Nice to
finally made
have
it.
you. So glad. Doing good on the let-ins here. How's everybody been?
Great.
Clock is.
Survived the
It's just.
that's odd, yeah. Yeah, I should just update automatic.
Both our phones are right these days. My watch died. I need to get a new battery in it. I wear a normal watch and I'm like a little bit lost. Even I could stare at my phone.
There's times when I have my phone, I'm like, what time is it? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got the clock on my phone. What am I
Like-
doing?
Teenagers would never go like this.
Right.
There's time. They won't get around
Do
me.
kids even wear watches anymore?
I
I
don't
mean,
know any of
I don't even think they wear Apple Watches, really. I don't
Yeah.
see kids, I see adults wearing them.
I have an Apple
Attention
Watch,
to
but I don't
time.
wear it all the time. It is convenient sometimes because
Yeah.
I can just answer messages real quick.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm like busy, I can just be like. Makes it convenient.
One of these.
Yeah.
Is that where you're sitting today, President? El Presidente? Okay. Well, I'm gonna.
Oh, you got one.
Where you want one of
I know
those?
when we sat there with our backs to the screen, I did not care for that.
No, it's not. We have, it,
I know, and it's weird to have the camera facing the screen. Usually they're on the same side.
good morning, Annie.
Good
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Can you hear me online, Bonnie McGregor?
Yes, I can,
I can hear
definitely.
you too.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna spotlight this. Hi, Elise. Thanks for joining us. I think we are ready, and I'll just continue to let people in but we have Bonnie McGregor and Elise online. I don't see Robert Rooney.
Well, you know, Rob changed roles at NWSDF, so.
Yeah, he said he could know, so I'm hoping. Six, seven. Annie will be back, so we'll. Yeah, Karen Boliger, new texter.
Unfortunately, I didn't get meeting agenda or the minutes. I looked and I didn't see it, so I'm just gonna wing it. I'll listen and I'll pick one up later.
Okay, did you look yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So,
Let's see if Karen hops on. I resent that to you, Bonnie.
okay. I'll look in my,
Well, we'll just let John start the meeting. John, we're ready and we
Okay.
will let anyone in that can.
All right. We'll call to order the meeting. Should we do roll?
Right. Elise Linsky.
Lipnix. Hi, Elise. Thank you. Virtually.
Annie Batey.
Live and in person. Thank you, Annie. Nice to see you.
here,
Bonnie, did that come through to you?
I don't see it. I'm looking for it. I'm looking in spam. Ah, it went to spam. Okay, I will print these off and I'll be, yeah.
At the holding.
Now we have our Carolyn Scarborough here today.
John Hughes.
Here.
Lynn Tribbett.
Excused.
Robert Rooney.
Robert Rooney, have not heard from
Mark Kiernan.
him. Mark's not here.
Catherine Murray.
Okay. I can get it.
Okay. I'll get it.
Thank you.
Bill Catherine.
Amy Butler.
And then me. Okay, please.
For staff, we have Mary Blair.
Yes.
Mindy Ashby. Bart.
Jasmine is here.
Oh, you're Jasmine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wendy Kilgore.
Excused. The only staff today will be Jasmine's and Marilyn
Okay.
and guest Mallory.
It's Melons here and Jasmine here.
Well, hopefully Karen Bolliger will hop on but we can continue.
Okay. We have any introductions?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
hi.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
nice to see you. My name is Kyle Hedquist. I'm basically a lobbyist. I work down at the Capitol for Oregon Justice Resource Center and work on primarily criminal justice reform, homelessness issues, drug addiction, treatment. So that's a little bit about me.
What drew you to the advisory commission?
Well, I wanted to get involved in some local stuff. You know, working at the Capitol, I see a lot of statewide stuff and I'm kind of a go-getter. And I'm like, well, I need to help out my local community. I just live right down the road by the Capitol. So I thought, you know, it's great to work on statewide stuff and federal stuff, but I want to also be a part of helping out the local city.
Very good.
So, yeah,
Welcome to the group.
thank you.
So, John, I just want to clarify, we've got 6 here, but we need 7 for a quorum, 8.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're good to go to have
All
a
right.
meeting.
All right, thank you.
We have any announcements?
Carolyn, do you have any announcements from your area today?
Do.
Good.
So we have actually added more clients to our home delivery program, 720 new clients. It is on the Older American Act funding, which may or may not be affected by what's currently right now. But there's been a lot of talk about it, but nothing solid saying that that funding is going to decrease at this time. We don't know. One service we provide is the monthly senior grocery boxes, and then about 40 boxes we distribute out here. That program has been, so we had 80 boxes, we're down to about 64. And they're asking us to do that. We don't like that, but that funding has affected a couple of our areas and share as well.
So is it first come, first serve?
No, this is a little bit different program than what they have over there for mobile pantry. This one has the same clients and they get it every month. And then we have a wait list that we would normally go to if someone doesn't pick up, and now they're asking us to send those boxes back and keep food. And then through attrition, let the program start to go down. But
Who is they?
it's the people that run it through USDA, that's the funding source. They run those programs. And our senior grocery box is a part of it. And that funding is impacting. But then on a positive note, we just got notice of a grant we received for more pet food, which we have already been distributing once a month. And we had about 50 to 60 clients that wanted it then. And then now we brought on new ones and we're doing about 75 bags of pet food a month. And then we got a new grant that would carry us out through this whole next year to give food to our old seniors. And some people have had disagreement about money going to that, but this is a foundation specifically and only for pets. So the money just, it would go to some other pet if it didn't go to our homebound folks. So that's a positive. We got that news yesterday. So yeah.
You know, I feel like we should, because we have a new member today, I think we should do introductions and where each person's from and
Okay.
yeah, if you wouldn't mind, John.
Sure. So I'm John Hughes. I'm the owner of Comfort Care Home Care here in Salem. And I've been part of this board for, well, since before COVID, so a while.
Nice.
And I try to get out in the community and do things as well. Marilyn's team talks me into coming here for like the continuing education classes to speak on different things. Although one that I have not done here, although I've done it at several like independent living communities and stuff, is one titled 10 reasons why you should eat chocolate.
No, I like that one.
That's the one out of all of them that I do that gets the highest attendance.
I'm Katie Dobler. I'm Vice President of the Medical Group at Salem Health Hospitals and Clinics. So all the employed providers and the clinics in addition to that. So keeps me busy on the day-to-day. And yeah, Salem Health, as we've talked about here, does a lot of partnership with this organization. So pleasure to be here.
It was sure nice seeing you and your mom at the Cup of Joe. Thank you for being there.
And I'm also on the Marion Pope Food Share Board, so it's a nice connection there as well.
Oh, that's great.
Very good. Bonnie?
Hello, I'm Bonnie McGregor, and after COVID, I got on the board. I've been honored to do it. Also on the fundraising board of Center 50 Plus, and let's see, I do other volunteer things in the community. I host karaoke at a couple of centers and other such things. So I'm pretty busy, along with my husband, taking care of him. But yeah, I'm really happy to be able to be on this board, and welcome to the new members. It's great. Thank you.
Elise?
Hi, my name is Elise Litnix. I am the program manager at the Alzheimer's Association. Our office is actually next door, so I apologize that I'm not there in person. I've been on the board for a number of years, pretty soon after our office opened at the Center 50 Plus, which was almost 9 years ago. So I'm very honored to be a part of this board.
Annie?
I'm Annie Batey. I've been on the board. This is my 4th year, I think. If I count right. Anyway, used to work for the city with neighborhood associations and have taken some classes that are helpful exercise-wise for my back. Sorry I missed Cup of Joe, but I was at a post-op for cataract surgery. So, and they don't let you get to pick the day and the time.
No.
They tell you, you show up. So, but connected with Maryland. So, my interest is in making sure that we continue to get the word out and that we continue to work with the levy to hopefully solve for 5 years some funding challenges that the city has, so we can spend those 5 years figuring out what's next.
Mhm.
I don't work for the city now, I can say that.
Carolyn Scarborough, I'm the director at Meals on Wheels, which we are stationed next door and down there and in the kitchen and all over. This is something I think this position's been a part of forever. So I started about actually just over a year. So the partnership's good and we're all connected for the same reasons.
Yeah, it started with Senior Townhouse, and I think it's more than 40 years old.
Wow.
The one that began at First Christian Church, they were like one of our very first partners before we actually had an official building at the old building. So I mean, it's been that many years before, and then it became Marion Pope Food Share, what, 10 years ago, 8 years ago?
8 or 9 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Only 8 or 9?
Yeah. Feels, I don't know, it's time
What do you
flies.
mean the food,
The name.
The Marion Pope Food Share took over,
Right, I
a
get it.
townhouse that was absorbed by Marion Pope Food Share, and they
Got it.
merged, and there was this transition and carry on, and it's been a lot of years. Yeah. Jasmine?
My name is Jasmine Celio, and I'm the volunteer coordinator here at Center 50 Plus. I've been in this role for I think 5 months now. Before that, I was here as an office assistant too, so I think I just hit my 2 years at 750+ last week, so, yeah.
And no party.
No what,
Hmm.
no party.
Hi, I'm Mallory. I'm a master's of social work student at Pacific University up in Forest Grove. And Center 50+ is my practicum site for my internship. So I've been here since September of last year. I'll be here for the entire academic year, which ends in May. So I'm kind of nearing my time there. And then I work under Heidi in outreach. And my primary focus is a community needs assessment.
Very good. Well, I don't see Karen coming in, but he said she was on her way, so we'll just keep working on that. So, thank you.
Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any public comment? So then I guess we need to move to our discussion items.
Yeah, so, last month, oh, yes,
About minutes.
oh,
Approval of minutes?
guess we better do approval of minutes after 3, yeah, after agenda. I don't know why that's always on there, but move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Do we just want to do a quick,
Motion to approve.
anyone opposed to the minutes?
I just had one question,
Mhm.
because they are so brief. Is that because we record the meeting and so people can watch it if they actually want to know what happened in the, any discussion pieces?
Yes, so the type of format, according to our policy, is we only report on action items,
Okay.
not content of our conversations.
Okay.
So we are not a play-by-play, we're just an action item agenda according to the city's policy for us.
Is it recorded or not?
It is, it's
Okay.
actually on YouTube right now,
Okay,
live,
yeah,
yep,
okay.
and recorded there.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like if somebody on the commission or somebody else is interested in a particular thing, then they have access to
Right.
the content of the meeting. So if
Yes.
you miss the meeting as a commissioner, we could go in and look and.
Correct.
Catch
We
up.
follow the public meeting laws, and it is broadcast right now, which goes to a recording system.
Now, any discussion item?
So we spoke the last 2 months, we've been visiting about our annual report that's gonna go to council. We are going to council on April 28th at 6 p.m. So if anyone would like to come and be in support of that presentation. John and I haven't talked about what that presentation is gonna look like. We've done it several ways. We've had the president do it entirely, or we've had the president do an opening and then turn it over to a staff person to do a PowerPoint. If you were at the Cup of Joe, we showed a video about Paul and Diana. And I'm almost wondering if that's this kind of year where we have a dynamic video and then we just spotlight 90 less than 3 minutes, do a overview, hitting a highlight for each area. Because our report will be sent to them. It'll be sent to them electronically. We'll also have it there for distribution. But it's long. The annual report is not in summary, like
No, it's
fast.
packed.
It's packed. And so rather than trying to just give them everything, I think we just speak to, you have a very large report. It's hard to condense all the work that this organization has done in a year. But here's some high level and maybe just volunteer stat, identify the partners, hits they had a couple of concerns last year. You know, every year someone says something from the floor and we try to then frame that as our work the next year. Last year, it was about how are we reaching other populations? So I want to definitely highlight that we heard that and responded and what we're doing. We also knew that there was a little bit of concern about us being in Northeast and what are we doing for the rest of the town. We have a map and an overview of the outreach that has gone to over 25, I think it's 26 locations by map, where we went to every part of the community, and we have, I think the map is impactful by just saying, you're concerned about us not being accessible to people that are outside of Northeast. We agree, that's why we have outreach. Here's the map.
Mm.
And look what we did. So I think we just do that.
Do you ever bring like the people in the video, like somebody that you've impacted or touched their lives to come and give like, I don't know, a minute story or something? The video was great. but I was
Yeah,
wondering.
we have. And Paul actually spoke before council
Okay.
a month ago. So I think seeing the whole story will be good.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, that's.
but we do try to have at least one or two people
Mhm.
intermingled in there of what's going
Well, this
on.
meeting's at City Hall, correct?
It is. It's the 28th. It's Monday,
At
the
6.
28th at 6 p.m. I will tell you, we will not be at the beginning. We're gonna be probably, depending on how we frame it, it could be, I might be able to get us under boards and commission reports early on, or they may have us be a presentation, which seems to be at the very end of meetings now.
Hmm.
It's terrible.
How
So
long is it? Like 6 to what?
Oh,
the
9?
last month, or last time I was there was only, we were out of there by 7:30.
wow.
They're doing a really efficient meeting. But this is the beginning of the budget year,
Mhm.
budget time, and this is an April meeting, so they will have, we could be till 9.
Mhm.
They have been making a rule that they cut off at 10,
Mhm.
but,
But they can always make a motion to extend the meeting too.
Yeah.
And if based on public testimony, you never know how many people.
we just
wanna
don't
speak.
know, but I will know before then, and I'll
Okay.
send out an email to everybody, get a sense of it. No matter what, whoever is my primary presenters, we want to be there early. I think that in the next week or two, I'll be able to send out an email and give you a better sense of what kind of time, what kind of energy is happening at these council meetings. Because you know, we have a council meeting on Mondays, 2 Mondays of the month, and then we have a budget committee meeting every Wednesday for the entire month of April and one in May. So there's a lot of energy, and so I'll get a sense of what time should you come? How long do you think you'll be able to stay? Should you bring work with you because it's gonna be hours of fun? Or is it okay if you arrive closer to the 6:30, 6:45? And that would be me knowing if parking is bad too.
Yeah.
Because I have told people, oh, come a little bit later in the meeting. You don't need to be there at the start, and they couldn't find parking. So they were down the street. So give me a week or two of get a sense of what it's like. But I think that will be the framework. It's gonna be more of a show and tell, and I think we'll keep it light. Usually we give some kind of thing that represents us. Last year we gave the I Am Rare keychain and the poem and kind of talked about the feelings behind what we do. The report is frankly just full of all sorts of data points. I think they're gonna be overwhelmed by all the data. I think that in this time, it probably is pretty important that we speak to the meaning. I think it's a year of meaning, like,
Meaning.
what is the meaning behind the work? I think this is the year for that.
Do we have a sentiment, like, I know that the livability levy obviously includes Center 50 plus. Do we have any type of impact, like, are people wanting to support this? You know, I mean, I know at least with the Salem Library, it's been back and forth, it seems like the last few years.
Very minimal, just following the things online, there's very minimal negativity coming out about Center 50 Plus. We're a 1.2 million of a 14 million shortfall, and so we tend to be kind of that lower line. And we also have been doing a pretty good job of talking about the leveraging. You know, the city gives us $1, we serve between $3 and $4 with that.
Right.
So we've been saying the same things, and so we tend to be kind of a quieter member of this team. However, we have a lot of senior support. I think they delivered well over 200 letters of support to council just in the last couple of weeks. And then I was understanding that the Friends organizations that are part of the levy have been getting endorsements from many, many, many people. So I don't have a sense in terms of, I just know for us, moving forward that, we're moving forward with, a balanced budget for this budget, meeting, and that is, I put forward a $200,000 reduction package for this upcoming year.
And what does that include?
I will just, well, it is a little bit of this and a little bit of that, because everything in our budget's little lines.
Yeah.
You know, I always laugh because people are like, oh, well, you're gonna have to cut all your office supplies. I said, well, it was $5,500 this year for the whole building. So, you know, we're not talking, it's not gonna save us. So it will be a reduction in staffing and potentially reduction in hours. Yeah. There was nowhere else for me to go but
Sure.
staffing.
Is it appropriate to ask what areas of staffing or?
I'm not prepared at this time, but that will come out next week, kind of where for sure. I'm still putting my pieces, my puzzle pieces together. It's not an exact science because
Sure.
we have 7 FTE. But I have a lot of 4-hour people a week and a couple that are 15 and I have a whole bunch of Band-Aids we've been given through the years. You know, we lost a whole position, but then they gave me 6 hours of seasonal to fix it. So
Right.
now we're to those Band-Aids is where we're looking. And so, yeah.
And what about the report itself? Will we see that pretty soon?
Yeah, well, so I've been sharing the details of it. The final draft will be sent to everybody. Not final draft, the last draft for quick review will be mid-month.
So I don't have anything in spam.
It's what I've been talking about for the last 2 months.
In the meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
the
Yeah,
content
I
of
haven't
it,
missed
yeah.
anything. Okay.
Yeah, no, we talked through what our high level accomplishments were, and now I have a professional putting it in pretty format.
Okay, great.
But once I get that, I will send it to you. But it follows 100% your work plan. And it follows the age-friendly communities work plan, both of which have been adopted by us. Are you in town that day, the 28th?
I think so. Yeah, that should be fun.
So looking in the next couple of, probably within the week, you should see something in your email for you to look at. It's a very similar format to last year's. I think
And
it
it'll
laid out
be,
nicely.
like, subject will be annual report.
Yeah.
That helps.
And you're looking for just a review and understanding it? or-
Yeah, just kind of any alarming things that you think is really stands out as, oh, that won't make sense, or people won't understand that, or I hate this. Those are the kind of things. But this is last year's report. I mean, it ended in December. So, as we're moving forward for the next year, this is a good time for our new advisory commissions to just start putting things down that you think would be good spotlights for the future. Yeah.
But I think it's also important, I think it's been 2 or 3 years ago that I responded after you sent it out and said, okay, I don't understand this section.
Mhm.
And she explained it to me and I'm like, okay, but can we change a few words so that everybody understands? And I think that's the biggest feedback
Exactly.
that she can get from us.
That's a huge help. It's just like, I suppose if we had 5 minutes for Marilyn to explain what we're saying here, that would work, but we have someone who's never read our book. That's really our hot item, for kind of our last piece to council right now. Because as far as, the levy and all of that, we're on a silent mode now. Now it's all public that's doing the work.
I tried to get a sign for my yard and they're all gone.
Already, huh?
Yeah.
Did you go to the website and that's?
Yeah, I
okay.
requested one. I
And
think
they
the day that they came through was last Saturday in my neighborhood, because I came home, I had to go into work for a little bit, and I came home and I was like, oh, everyone around me. But I think they went door to door and I was not, normally I'm there. I just had to go in for an issue. So yeah.
Well,
I missed the boat, but I did request one. They said that they were getting more in, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my understanding is that there was a push to get some out
Mhm.
immediately, but that there's the not city funds, library, foundation
Yes.
funds are working with consultant, and the consultant wants to do some 3-color signs.
Mm.
So I think these are fabulous because it's what it
Hi, Karen.
they
Mhm.
all.
Yeah.
So the pack has been formed, so everything is happening from there. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. We were just wrapping up the annual report. We're gonna go on April 28th, council at 6 p.m. And I'll be working with John to do something. How we
Some kind of
decide.
presentation.
Yes.
Like a presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you want to give any highlights from a cup of Joe or any?
Yeah, so I do have a report, so I just wanna will you send around? It sounds like you got my email.
Yeah.
And you did. Did you?
With
Cause I
the
pulled up the
Minutes
list.
and that. I got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll
I
work
was
with Mindy.
looking and both you and Bonnie are on my list, so I wanna look in
Maybe
your
when she
junk.
expand.
Yeah, I wanna make sure, figure out why you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cause.
Yeah, and you might have to, I mean, sometimes I have an Apple phone, so have my settings to where if I've never gotten an email from somebody, it doesn't accept it. It just shoots it off. So whenever I got that email for the first time, I just went in and added that to my contacts.
And on the Apple phone, if you have an Apple phone, that update where they're sorting out
Oh, yeah.
your email, it's very annoying, I think.
It is.
So like I miss stuff all the time, but you have to change the list view, but yeah, I think you have to do it every time you get on your phone. Anyway, so you might have something like that. It's sorting out mail for you and assuming that you want focused inbox.
Yes.
I don't like it.
I don't even.
Well,
I find something weeks later and I'm like, oh, that's.
I know.
You know, that has been happening to me. Wait, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like come and
No.
gone.
So if you want those emails, just go to your spam and then say, add to contacts. And then your phone will quit sorting them out. Thank you, phone, for
Yeah.
trying to run my life.
Well, for the, I'll have Karen give the fundraising update, but, so what's happening here at Center 50 Plus right now is we have, we're in budget time. And like I mentioned, we have for us, a fairly significant budget reduction. The reason 200,000 is significant to us is it's on the tail of I just did 400,000. And then to close out my current fiscal year, which ends June 30th, I had to create a savings, and that was 250,000. So if you go 400,000 last year, 250 this year, and I'm doing 200,000, we're at almost $1 million. And so we're starting to feel it. And so this next month, I will be at every budget committee meeting and be representing. The city is in transition. Our deputy city manager, who was my boss, Scott, he has given notice and he is leaving. So I have a new city manager interim right now. And then I have recently today, I found out that I'll have a new supervisor and they'll be making that announcement on the interim. Again, everything is short interim things. So temporarily without department, temporarily without a boss, and we're in the midst of a budget.
So will
You're the
you
best one.
send, will you send us an email and let us know who the interim is when they announce it?
Actually, I will. I'll share the press release. They're gonna do a press release, probably today or tomorrow.
So if the levy passes, then will you be able to increase your budget next year? Does that make sense?
Yes, if the levy passes May 20th, my reductions of the 200,000 this year will be restored.
But the others are lost.
That's correct. My reductions previously were not included in this restoration. So, so we all,
It
this
won't
is,
boost anything really.
it won't boost anything, but it will at least keep us whole as we are. And I think that 5-year period would be an opportunity for us to revisit our partnerships, revisit our volunteer management, revisit just the structure of what we do. We have a Vision 2020. We've been carrying that vision document, our strategic plan for many, many years. I think that 5-year period, if we have that opportunity, will be to revisit that, do an assessment again and look at, the work we're doing and all of that goes into that. So I see that as a real opportunity. For the last 2 years, we've been in just survival. So it'll be nice to have a space of regrouping and thinking. So,
But if the levy does not pass, it's not just the 200,000 that we're being cut. It's the 13.4 that has to come out from all the departments in the general.
we don't know the full impact of that yet, but it won't
But it won't be
200,000.
no.
Yeah.
Certainly will not be only 200,000.
But the impact will be much stiffer with the library and the parks than it would be on Center 50 Plus.
In terms of other things that have been going on, last week, I spoke at the National Conference for AARP Livable Communities on partnership development. It was a really great opportunity. But the AARP's AIDS Friendly Communities project, where we were one of the early ons from 2017, is really going forward. They're pushing to be an age-friendly state. They're working with hospitals to be age-friendly hospitals. They're working with universities. Like there's this real kind of some energy around how do you make communities a place where people can live and thrive for their lifetime. And the key areas that are most concerning to seniors nationally and statewide match right up with the concerns of Salem. Wouldn't that be so? Oh, but it continues to be housing, not just affordability, but accessibility. It's much bigger than just can I afford my rent or my mortgage? It's can I live there?
Yeah.
And is it for me? Can I access the things I need from there? Do I know my neighbors? That's a real critical piece. Transportation always continues to be a concern. It isn't resonating to the very top of our list here in Salem right now because we have bigger we have some things in place. It's just a matter of how do we help people accessing them. And so I think we'll continue to always have mobility beyond that. But added to mobility is not just transportation, motorized transportation. There is concerns about walkability, safety of pedestrians, people being able to access services within the neighborhood that they live. Those are high ranking nationally. And then, of course, I love this one, people are really engaged in government and civics and what's happening and being their own advocates. And so there's this kind of swelling of, okay, seniors, what are we gonna do to own our own future? And so advocacies, civics, and that being some new energy there, of course, and that matching AARP, that's what they are, they're advocates. And then, of course, the fourth, people, brain health just never goes out of style. People are concerned about learning and keeping their brains healthy. There is an underlying fear and desire to do better for brain health and caregiver responsibility. So, I mean, those tend to be really what the nation's looking at, what local government is looking at, because those are what's happening. So the point I'm sharing is our age-friendly action plan is really on point. It's following the trend, and I always like to see that we're kind of in the know, and we're doing things that others are doing and being a part of bigger things than that. So we are recognized from the AARP state office, we're recognized nationally, and we're going to continue to do that work. As I prioritize my work, I think the age-friendly initiative and being a part of something bigger than ourselves remains to be a priority. The other is that the center is busy. We are seeing a gradual, consistent increase in attendance. The lunch program is busting, our exercise classes are busting, our lobby is busting, and there's just this natural growth. Well, with that natural growth comes other populations into the space that we're not always staffed for. Unsheltered, it's not the issue of being unsheltered, but it's the things that they're struggling with because of it. Health concerns, chronic illnesses, mental health issues, drug and alcohol addictions. And we've shared before, we are not staffed for that. We don't carry that skill set here. And right now we don't have financial support from the city to address it. So we have some great meetings going on with our agency partners, because just because we say we aren't staffed for it does not mean that the problem that we're not going to have to address it. We have to. So we're just having to be creative on who's going to help us, because we do have an increase in the number of folks that are using this as a space to shelter for the day, especially on these really bad, stormy, rainy days. So, thinking in terms of safety and security for those that are here and those that are coming into the building, our patrons and our staffing, we're happy to really look at how are we going to address this moving forward. In terms of programmatically, I have Jasmine here today. Jasmine is our volunteer coordinator. We have 465 volunteers. They gave over 105,000 hours of service. That does not include Carolyn's 45 a day and all the hours that they do. We don't even count that.
Yeah, we have 350 volunteers that help in each area. And then on a weekly basis, actually daily, we have about 75 that come in.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in every area here at the building utilizes volunteers. So we don't start a program that does not have a volunteer workforce connected to it. And we have done it for years, more than 10 years without a coordinator. And we've pieced a volunteer to process applications. We've done those things through the years, but Mountain West Center for Community Excellence gave us the funding for 2 years to fund a volunteer coordinator. That's how I have Jasmine. The addition to that is it was really exciting to be able to move to having a coordinated effort of our volunteers, especially reaching other communities and in particular having a bilingual staff to help us recruit and train and utilize a community that we really haven't been able to engage. So we're really starting to feel the benefit of having a designated person. Who would have thought? Volunteers are so, we would not exist without them. Absolutely, I would, that would be an understatement if I mean, it's not even an understatement. We would not be open. But volunteers do need supervision and assistance. It's not just
Free for all.
a free for all. And when we don't have supervision, that is when we start having problems. People go rogue. You know, I find out, oh, I just ordered a $500 piece of equipment. I put it on my credit card and I want you to reimburse me. And I'm like, but they're wanting to be, they're so invested in what they do. And so it's easy for people to kind of assume, and then before you know it, we're not following our strategic plan. We're not staying within budget. And people feel underprivileged, underappreciated, they feel overtaxed, they feel undertrained. You know, all of that happens when we just let it all happen. And so having a volunteer coordinator is gonna be it has been a huge addition to us. We're loving every minute of it. But it is not forever. See, for me to get a volunteer coordinator, I had to find outside funding to make it. And that really should be a part of our core basic operations. That should be a given if you're gonna have volunteers.
Especially this many volunteers.
That's right.
We're not talking about 3 people, you know.
Can you imagine a company that had 465 and no HR department? It'd be just a crazy mess. So we're really working to, as we strategize, as we look at that 5-year hiatus, maybe, or that time, the value management support of our volunteers will have to be prioritized. Now, you know, it's in our 5 core values. It is our strategic plan. It's senior leadership and volunteer workforce. And it's on that priority list. It's in our strategic goals. Well, if it's in our strategic goals, how do we fund it so that it's adequate? You gotta back it with funds. You have to not just say it in theory, you have to own it. And so that would be a priority. So Jasmine, can you give us an update? You have some things going on.
Yes, so I'm gonna kind of talk about what I've been working on and what you can kind of already start to see. But we have a lot of new volunteers in a bunch of different areas. So just recently we have 2 new kiosk people that you'll probably see checking folks in and greeting them. We also have 1 new backup for the kiosk. So that's always good for if you're unable to make your shift, you just phone a friend. So we're able to start building up the backup since now we're able to start having all our shifts filled. And then we also have 2 new reception backups. So they are still in training. And one of them actually, she came on board and wanted to volunteer because she wanted to create a community for herself. She moved out here to be with her kids. And of course, her kids kind of have their own life and aren't able to hang out with her all the time. So she was really excited to kind of meet new people and create that community. And she came in to train one day, and then that same week she left and went home and broke actually both of her wrist.
Ooh.
So,
Oh.
yeah, so she's out for a bit, but she was so thankful that we were able to call her and check on her and see how she was doing. I mean, if she hadn't come to volunteer, nobody else would have checked up on her and cared. So we sent her out a letter and, we're all waiting and everyone was asking about when the next time she'd come in. So, I think that is the whole point of taking on those volunteer shifts and coming to Center 50 Plus. It's not just for a volunteer shift, but it's also to create that community and those friendships. So, and we see that so early on. So that's awesome to see. We also have 2 new janitorial support help. So it's really nice, those folks as well, because it's, kind of that sick season. So having someone always wipe down doorknobs and handles, really just nice to have. And then, of course, we've added a lot of new volunteers to Friendly Caller, Friendship Brigade, people interested in the driver's program. Just in the past month, I started 10 state level background checks. And of those 10, 8 were completed, which is actually a really good number for that month.
What's the driver's program?
The driver's program is where we have volunteer drivers and they kind of go through an extensive background check. And then people sign up to get rides to like doctor's appointments, to pick up their groceries, those rides that are kind of crucial. So you sign up and you say that I have an appointment that I need to get to. And a lot of our appointments are actually a lot further. So somebody had like an appointment out in Clackamas. And so those rides, you can't just like Uber or bus there, or if they have mobility issues, things like that. So,
So we piloted that with funding from AARP and it was finally allowed through the city to be able to pair up a background checked volunteer with a background checked client. So they're mutually background checked and then but it's not on demand. It's there.
I have an appointment in a week.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we assist them in exhausting some of their other options. A really good example is, an individual has a colonoscopy. They have no one to take them and someone needs to sit with them afterwards. This person, we can make arrangements for that person to go wait, go home, set the resting period of 4 hours, So it's kind of that next level
Yeah,
transportation relationship.
yeah.
What really sparked getting the money for that is we just have so many people that are solo aging. No siblings, no partner, no family of any kind. And so you don't realize you don't have anybody until you can't find someone to sit with you while you're at your colonoscopy. I mean, that's where they wake up and they go, I really have no one because you can't Uber.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, well,
yeah. And then going into our bilingual volunteers, we've been able to get some help for our future English classes. So our English classes are starting in June. And so we actually have a volunteer that speaks Spanish and English and actually has a past in teaching English as a second language. So that's gonna be awesome. And then our Spanish respite program, we have volunteers for that, and they've gone through the training process. So we're excited to get that started. And it is starting, we're just slowly adding clients to that. But thankfully, last week was what would have been our Spanish respite. We actually did a music therapy circle since we had that bilingual music therapist. And we had people that spoke English and Spanish come to that, and it was really cool to see. She was singing in both languages, and we had a great crowd. I don't know, you might have saw on Facebook, but we had kind of a break dancer there to start off the session. Yeah, so Fridays here are pretty wild. Yeah. But coming up is Volunteer Appreciation Week. So that's happening from April 21st to 25th. And so we'll have cupcakes here all week to celebrate our volunteers and thank them. But on top of that, we're actually going to have a ceremony at the Salem Cinema. It's going to be kind of like a an award just a quick award ceremony at the very beginning. And then they're gonna be able to pick from either 2 or 3 different movies that are playing at that time, receiving a small popcorn and pop, maybe getting their photo taken with a celebrity cutout, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll have the whole thing, red carpet. It'll be a great time. So, we're excited for that. We're just waiting on some final details, but yeah, we already have some people that are RSVP'd for that. So,
So on that event, everybody is invited. We'll just be buying a couple of hundred tickets to the theater and people can just sign up, call in, easy, put on the clipboard, and then you come to the Salem Cinema. And the reason we aren't telling you the date is because Loretta has not told us if it's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday of that weekend. So we're really, really working on that. But that will give you a couple of weeks' notice, and we hope that you'll come to that. Of course, it says you can wear black tie and long gowns like you're going to the Emmys, but, or the Grammys, but, what is it? Oscars.
yes.
One of them.
But you can come as you want as well. So that'll be a really fun event, but that'll be the whole month of April that will be really spotlighting our volunteers. And if you picked up the Northwest 50 Plus magazine, you saw that our volunteer of the year is our president of our Friends organization, Karen Ballmer. It's very exciting.
It is, thank you, thank you.
And I think, and I know Karen, so I have a feeling she'll wear sparkle to my movie premieres.
I'm already thinking about that.
I know. And then, we'll send the report to you in the email today, and you can see the respite updates, the fitness center updates, our lifelong learning classes, a Spring Chick Women's Conference, all of these different things are coming up. And of course, we're preparing for, mark your calendar, September 6th, Food Scoot and Brew.
Classic.
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
The, seems like it's the fitness classes. It doesn't say who's presenting. In the newspaper insert into the, you know, there's a once a month and it doesn't say if it's check with the hospital or if it's, the grocery store, natural grocers, or who's
But
presenting.
it says the name of the subject matter,
Right.
but no name in
Right.
it. I'm not sure why that would be.
Okay.
Usually they say unless we didn't know, like we're doing the subject and we're looking for who it would be. We aren't identifying instructors for exercise classes anymore because they are flexible and rotate.
Okay.
But I'll check on them.
Because it's two different perspectives in that case. One is coming from commercial.
So if
Fees
it's during
is
the
coming from
weekday,
public
it's
health.
usually the check center. If it's on a Saturday, it's usually the grocers.
Okay.
The volunteer event is the week of the 21st, you said at some point,
Yes, yeah.
either,
We're really thinking it's Tuesday. Aren't we?
Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
last we heard.
Tuesday or third,
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Better than like Tuesday.
We're really hoping.
And
for
in the
Tuesday.
evening or
It's
in the afternoon.
it's a matinee.
matinee, okay.
So do you have all the celebrity cutouts you need?
No, we need more if you have some.
Yeah.
I have one of John Wayne.
Okay.
I should have two of them.
Of course.
Better.
Why would anybody have one?
That's right, you have to have two. Karen, do you want to give us an update on the Cup of Joe?
Cup of Joe. All right. There were 389 reservations and the final count was surprisingly pretty darn close to that.
Wow.
And 2 years ago, the Cup of Joe moved to downtown. A wonderful, wonderful decision because we're at the, I always say Civic Center. We're at the you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Convention
The
center.
convention center, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I think
that's a great
Civic Center
place.
is an old fashioned name that.
Well, that's City Hall.
I guess so. So the convention center and the rooms are lovely. The parking is lovely. I mean, there's just isn't anything wrong with being at the convention center. The food is it's a really good breakfast. And most importantly, we're not at Center 50 Plus cooking it ourselves. That's the number one thing. So Maryland then can concentrate, and the Friends Board as well, can concentrate on the program. So the program really last year and this year have been stellar. You know, good speakers and interesting speakers, and your talk on your motivator, Winnie, was just really, really nice. And I'm going to share this with you because I think it's so brilliant. So last year, there's a little problem with tech. And the convention center has their own tech person, but they couldn't quite fix it. And Marilyn's kind of standing up there. This year, she writes 2 speeches. One, if the tech works perfectly, and one, if the tech blows up. I think that is so smart.
Mhm.
And she was able to use the one with tech. So there you go. The follow-up, I know Marilyn has gotten quite a few, well, what's the final number? What's the final number? I guess the follow-up has been on and on and on. People calling that want to donate, people calling that want to join, volunteer the center, and business partners as well. So the center, the Cup of Joe was not just a one-day affair, it was more like a 3-week affair. So there will be a final number soon here, but it was just really quite nice.
Have you already surpassed your goal as of now?
We're at 45,000.
Okay, and what was
And
your,
Our goal, gross was 65, so we're still about 5,000 shy of that. It cost $12,000 to put on the event, and I had that sponsored. And in previous years, we counted it all. Sponsor money, donor money, and then we gave a gross figure. Well, this year, we're giving a net figure. We're at 45,000 net. And it cost 12,000 to put on. So we're probably at least where we were last year, but we had a stretch goal. And so we're about 5,000, between 5 and 10,000 less than what we really would like for this event, for this growth. Now, 2 years ago, we made 5,000. So it has been a significant growth.
That's awesome.
And one of the important things too is, as you, I spoke a little bit, as you look out over the crowd, there's not everybody that you recognize. So it's certainly a Center 50 Plus event, but there's not all the patrons of Center 50 Plus. There were a certain number of city council members. Now, couldn't be all of them because then that constitutes a quorum and they can't have that, et cetera. So there were about 3 or 4, how many were legal, but business partners and political figures in Salem. And that was very nice to see too.
A lot of new faces.
Uh-huh.
You know, we do a lot of events here. And going to the conference center help us define to our patrons that this is really different than our monthly or our regular pancake feed. This
Right, right.
really is a fundraising event. And I think renting the building helped us to say that. Because we already, people say, oh, what about all your seniors? We do lots for our seniors. And so it's okay that we have this one event a year that is not all you can eat or free, or, that it's really a fundraising event. So I think we're pleased with the outcome. We always have things we want to do differently next time, and we will. But I think that I had meetings all last week. I have meetings all this week from new partners, new sponsors, curious advertisers, just people saying, okay, I understand we should be, why are we not, those kind of questions. And so it's been really, I think, the trickle down. We did lose one very large donor this year from our Cup of Joe. And so that often puts a little worry when you have the same person that gives a big check every year to the Cup Joe. We did not get that this year. I was so pleased because we were okay and we didn't rely only on one person.
Mhm.
We have many other people contributing, so I think that's a good move in the right direction. Putting all your eggs in one basket is not wise. And so expanding.
Especially in this economy.
Yes. Exactly. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. They just said, you know what? My investments did not pay off. And I can't. And you know, that's the world we live in.
And the number of sustainers grew as well. And sustainers can be your bread and butter if you lose the large donors for whatever reason.
We sure love the Cup of Joe Sustainers Program. It gives you a consistent monthly income. It carries you through some of those tougher months. But most of our donors don't like the technology of it coming out of their account once a month, and they just want to write me one check. They said, I'd give you $5 a month, I'm giving you $60 for the year. That makes them feel more comfortable. And so we still have a little bit of that. But I was seeing by the changeover and some of the folks coming as we've made this change, a comfort level with the sustainer idea or giving a credit card for over a course of time or joining. We're seeing a little trend where people are feeling more comfortable.
Now, what about the cups and the change? Any final number on that?
We haven't even taken it to the bank. So we passed out these coffee cups and just said, collect your change. I have a whole office full of them.
That's such a great idea.
That's a great idea.
On the way out the door. Only.
They just keep on coming, but we didn't think about the logistics of it.
Banana boxes full of cups.
That's right.
You get an armored car here?
So anyway, a wonderful event, just wonderful event with good leadership. And I'm going to tell this story because it's kind of cute. Jasmine last year was her first year and her hair was on fire with the registration and the RSVPs and oh my gosh. This year, oh, cool hand Luke. Some kind of little something going on in her team of people and it just worked out well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So great event.
Now it's Boot Scoot.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
And that will change. That will change to be an all-day event. Because early on in the day, then one would capture the seniors. And then later on in the night, one would capture the younger people. So, and this is a change because we listened to folks last year. So, and of course, the venue, fantastic, Riverfront Park.
Oh, yeah, that's a great spot.
For parking. Well, the shuttle from here.
Oh, good.
It went all day last
Yeah,
year. It
yeah.
was very successful,
Good,
the
good.
shuttle part. Yeah.
Because there will be, pay everyone parking except in the parking garages by September.
I always look, because I go to all the events at Riverfront and World Beat and everything else, they all do it. So we just have to help, and they don't provide shuttling. So, you know, it's getting to the people that go to festivals, getting to the people that are, and then our age-friendly lens is, we're gonna shuttle you
Right.
where you feel comfortable to where you wanna be dropped off. So all the rest of the people that park everywhere and do
Right.
their thing and go to festivals, we don't have to worry about them, but we do have to worry about our seniors.
And they can walk those 6-8 blocks
That's right.
from where their car is parked.
Yeah, part of Marion Parkade, I mean, it's a little bit of a walk, but I mean, if it's a beautiful day, who cares? Part of the venue.
Let's hope for that.
Yes.
So, does City Hall allow people to park there like on Saturday for an event like this, that's a city event?
You know, I don't think they do parking enforcement there anymore, or the library.
But that's a little far from.
Yeah,
park.
like rather than the parking.
Yeah, it'd be better to park at the parkade.
if you need, I mean, if you were just, if you're gonna drive and wanna walk a little. City Hall would be a long walk.
No, not really, because you come in at the carousel end.
Mhm.
I'm not sure which end
Yeah.
because aren't you down by the amphitheater?
Yes, we're in the amphitheater.
It's just a block. I mean, it's a long block, but it's a
Right,
block from parking. You go across the street and just,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a walk, but people figure it out. Yeah, there's lots of options.
And you can always park by, the Gilbert House,
Mhm.
stop into the Gilbert House and then walk over to the festival.
Exactly.
People out here. Sketchy.
Especially by the Gilbert House?
Yeah, there's a lot of camps right there.
Well, that's new. That's.
Comes and goes.
It does. It comes and goes.
Were there any other comments or input that anybody wanted to do?
Have we spoken, did I miss it, on the livability levy commission?
We briefly said that it's on the count, it's on the May 20th but that we talked about more about my budget.
Okay, there's a little confusion because their yard signs are out now. And these yard signs were privately designed and privately paid for. The commission itself, which I go to, you creep, you stopped coming. John was smart to get out soon. And there is a new branding. So there will be a second set of yard signs and buttons and things like that that will come from an official committee to be put out. And their philosophy is they want to make a whoosh right at the last minute. So after May 1st, another set of yard signs, more buttons.
They were saying that they had gone online to try to get some or to.
Yeah, they came through my neighborhood and I was not home and my neighborhood was full of signs when I got home and I requested one from whoever that the lobby or the gentleman that was.
Yes.
Like for the libraries anyways, and they're all out of signs. So they were out like the Monday,
Yeah, so I think the PAC,
last Monday.
so that was Jim Shepke and
Yeah.
he kind of started his own campaign, but then the actual PAC will have some more and I think sooner than that.
Got it.
Yes.
and as I've been in meetings, I have made a point, as there's been information about the levy, to bring up the fact that oftentimes people say, well, what about the patrons? Why aren't they doing anything? And the idea that every single one of the groups has its own friends group, already is applying for grants, already is doing fundraisers, because people wonder that sometimes, they think, well, why aren't they trying to raise some funds here? Oh, no, it's already being done, but it will not take care of the funding.
Are they trying to raise 13 million? Is that what the question is?
No, I just preemptively say this to people because it's the devil's advocate pieces that are out there that maybe people aren't saying. And I think it's really important for them to understand that ongoing Friends of the Center 50 Plus, Friends of Parks, Friends of the Library, everybody's been working hard over the years and continues to work hard to raise money. We're not just looking for a handout.
Yeah, and there appears to be no organized opposition
Right.
to this levy measure.
But the key is getting the people to the ballot box
Mhm.
and voting yes. So the more things, because I don't think there are going to be many people that are going to verbally oppose. But when it goes to marking the ballot, these kinds of background ideas coming up, and the more we talk about what's already been done, the investments that's being made by the people that are in these groups, the more that also says, oh, okay, well, they're not looking for a handout. They are working hard already to raise the money, and there's more money than can be raised at the, the different fundraisers, grants, et cetera.
Yeah, I think just being able to share that, Center 50 Plus has patrons that pay fees. We have business sponsors that provide sponsorship. We have city, county, and federal grants to operate need-based services. We have, use primarily a volunteer workforce. All, you know, if you're looking at a check the boxes, Center 50 Plus does them all. The only difference that I think is kind of important as an advisory commission member is to know that Friends of Center 50 Plus is the only fundraising group, 501c3, that supports operations. They're the only one that buys light bulbs, toilet paper. They are that. All the others are not direct infusion into operations. They are pet projects, capital improvements. So it is a significant difference in terms of operation. If you just look at that piece, that is a significantly different model than anybody else in the city in terms of the city municipality. And I think that's important for people to know. You know, the majority of what we do here, our groups pay for. It's the need-based programming, outreach, friendly visitor, scholarships for people who can't afford. That is what is, yes, you can fundraise for that, and we do, but you can't charge that person for that service.
Right.
And so that's that little pocket of money that really,
It's operational. You gotta have some operation funding.
we have a water bill, not a water bill. We don't have a water bill. We have an electric and a gas bill and a garbage bill, just like everybody else. And Friends helps pay for that. And no, that's not how the Friends Library Board or the Friends Foundation is. They do not. And so, and Parks Library and the Parks Foundation. That's not what they are, that's not in their mission.
Do you know what would be helpful if you're looking next year to have more sustainability, you know, like monthly amounts? So like Boys and Girls Club, I think, when I went to their fundraiser, they would say like $25 a month gets, and it gives you like a meal for 2 families or something, you know, something, or this particular, so like people can look at that and say, oh, I could do $50 a month, and this is what, you know, not exactly what it's going for, but what that could help pay for your heating bill or what, something like that. That could be helpful for people to really quantify and think about like, oh, I should be giving, because you need monthly operational fees. And I mean, I do monthly to Boys and Girls Club only because I was like, oh, that's easy. You know what I mean? So I think that helps people kind of quantify where, and that you really need money kind of, it's helpful to infuse money throughout the year versus the one time. I mean, that they're both helpful, but that can help people think about it. So maybe next year doing that.
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah, on the drop-down menu, we did it by program.
Mhm.
And then there's one that's like, the one that's like the toilet paper one.
Right, but I mean, just give people examples to
agree.
say,
Yeah.
if you do the sustainability of, and it could be whatever, $10 a month, like really small amounts, and then even up to 100 a month, like and you're like, wow, that's a big impact, and it's not a big impact out of my pocketbook for certain individuals.
Sounds good.
Right, I think that's it. Do I have a motion to adjourn? All right, meeting adjourned.
So just look for your junk box. For the next 10 days, look in your junk box, because there'll be some things in.
I donated
Goodbye,
a
y'all.
small amount, and but I will like.
Bye, Bonnie.
Goodbye.
Oh, bye. Karen, congratulations. Couldn't go to anyone better. That's wonderful.
I want to make sure it does the best to the cup of joe. I did not lie.
Bye, everybody.
That's the way fever. Can I get on the website and get? I'm sure you can. Okay, if I have any issues, I'll reach out.
What are you wanting to do?
I was gonna, after hearing you, I'm happy to do a monthly amount on top of what I donated, but I wanted to make sure if I got online that I could actually do it, so it's connected to that event.
Yes, so when you go to the Friends of Center 50 Plus, there's a donate button.
Mhm.
It takes you
Okay.
to the Cup of Joe.
Okay,
That's
that's what I'll do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it'll stay up there for quite a while,
Okay,
actually.
okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And then I have another fundraising idea, I think it would be great, and I just actually connected,